Alright, this is the construction of the Pentagon. This is the approximate Pentagon, the rusty compass Pentagon. So make a line segment. This will be one side of your Pentagon. We'll call this A and B. This is a rusty compass construction that ends up creating angles. The resulting angles are a third of a degree or a quarter of a degree off from the actual angles of a pentagon. The benefit of this is that you don't have to adjust your compass once you get going. Alright, so you're going to draw a circle centered at A, and then a circle centered at B. We're going to draw a line through these two intersections. In fact, we'll call this one C. So line those up, draw a line. Now we're going to place our compass, same setting, at C, and it should go through A, it should go through B. It looks like it's a little off for A, so I'm just going to move my compass ever so much, and that's a little better. And I don't need a full circle, I just need a partial circle, because I want a couple intersections. I want this one, D, I want this one, E, and I want this one, F. Be careful, I want this intersection, not this one, because I'm going to use these new intersections to draw a line. I don't actually need the whole line. All I need is that intersection up there, but I'll lightly draw the rest of the line so you can see it. Same thing with E and F. I don't need to draw a line through E and F, I just need this intersection up here, but I'll draw it in there so you can see. So F, G, whoops, H. Now at this point, G and H are two more of the corners of the Pentagon. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and connect these so you see what's happening. Sometimes in these constructions it's easy to be overwhelmed by all the steps. Now you can imagine the rest of the Pentagon, the roof if you will, somewhere up here. Where is it going to be? Well, think about this. It has to be this distance from H, so somewhere on this arc, and also the same distance from G. All right? So that's why we place the compass at one, make a mark, place the compass at the other. This intersection is the same distance from G and H. There's only one point like, well, there's 2 points like that. There's only one point like that that we're interested in for the purposes of this construction. And there we go. That's the Pentagon, Albert Durer's construction. Now notice this is not inside of a circle, and so it can be it's a bit more challenging to create a decagon, a 10-sided polygon. Well, here's what we can do. Now if you had a hexagon, or any polygon with an even number of sides, if you just connect a couple opposite corners, it'll give you the center. We have an odd number of sides here, so that won't work. If I try connecting opposite corners, the center is clearly nowhere over here. Your intuition would tell you that the center must lie in between, say, this corner and the midpoint of this, and also halfway between this corner and that midpoint, and so on and so forth. So what I have to do if I want to find a circle that contains the Pentagon is to bisect these sides. So I'll do that. I'm going to bisect two sides so that I can create a couple lines that will give me the center of the circle that would contain the pentagon. I have to construct the circle that contains this pentagon. But notice it doesn't use any tools we didn't already have. It just used that perpendicular bisector again. Awfully handy. So there's the center. So now I can figure out the circle, and I test it to see how close I am. It's not too bad. I need to move my compass just a smidge. Yeah, that's probably better. So what do I do with this circle? So this circle contains the pentagon. So if I want to make a decagon, this is too busy. It's going to be a mess. Here's what I can do. I can use this as scratch work, essentially. Go to a new piece of paper, transfer that circle. It's the same size circle. And I would make a note, and I would say something like circle constructed on page 1 or something. And maybe this is page 1. And I might make a note here, pentagon and circle constructed for decagon on page 2. Now the other part of this I can use is I can go back and obtain that length of the pentagon, right? And I can transfer this. So I've adjusted my compass. I have the length. I go back over to my circle, and I can transfer that length along the circle. And so I don't have to do the whole thing again. I've constructed my distances on a previous page. And there's a little bit of an error there. So, you know what I might do? Because I'm off a little bit, I might split the difference here and use that point. And then I can say something like, divisions of circle by 5 on page 1, or whatever. I'm explaining to the reader how I got this circle and these 5 points, because out of nowhere this doesn't make any sense. There's no construction for doing this, starting with a circle and making 5 marks without there being supporting marks. And so then I can go ahead with the process of bisecting the edges. So, yeah, come on in. Alright, I had somebody stop by just then. I took the liberty of doing the rest of the perpendicular bisectors. And the idea of these is you connect your ruler with the center of the circle or an opposite point. And it should be the same. Actually, I don't like that one. So I'll use the circle. And then go around and do that, connecting the circle to those points. I'll go ahead and do this, and then I'll start again. So there are the 10 points. Now we could connect them, of course. Let's do that. So, all right, we can go point to point here. And this makes a decagon, 10, like decimal, like decade, like decimate, which used to be what happened to, oh, I don't know the name, but groups of Romans, some sort of troop formation, some sort of troop size. Decimate would mean kill 1 out of 10. I think it means something different now, because 10%, I don't know if that still qualifies as decimation. I use the word in a more closely related to obliteration than 10%. So there's a decagon. Yep, come in. It's a busy office hour. Okay, so that's a decagon. From here, of course, you can make stars by connecting any of these things. The key points here in this particular set of constructions is that because of how much work it takes to get a decagon, it makes sense to do some of your initial work on a separate piece of paper and then transfer some of the measurements onto this one over here. So, hope this is helpful. We're all done.